Nobody can hear you. Nobody cares about you. Nothing will come of this. Why don't you let these nice gentlemen take you home? Cover him up, it's cold out here.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, and racist pieces in between. This is your motherfucking Spick, aka Dirty Dick, aka Soul Papo, with another week. And if y'all was hiding under a rock this past week, we definitely grabbed America by the pussy, and we participated in the Mannequin Challenge, in which case most suburban wives didn't give no fucks. Didn't give no shits and couldn't stand behind a bitch. So she had to give dominance where it's due, or where they think it should be coming from. And that was the most, really quickly, Trump is now the president-elect. So, mind you, this is just about a week afterwards. And he hasn't fully taken office yet, because it doesn't happen until the start of 2017, I think, right? And already he's coming in, he's putting people in their proper places. He seems like he came with a plan. And if not him personally, then the people who are minding the strings behind him, possibly. Something of that nature. Now, one thing I laughed so much because in his opening acceptance speech, I'm not too sure if that was inauguration or if that was just, no, inauguration was when you fully take the plateau, right? Just in his acceptance of winning. Actually, the very day of, the morning of, I was listening to 92.3 KTAR. That's the morning talk show here in Arizona, in Phoenix. And their campaign CEO, I forget what his name is. I'm not sure if it's Donnan. He's actually the state treasurer here of Arizona. So Trump has some connects down here. And obviously it wasn't with McCain because he was talking shit about him, which I think McCain finally did endorse him at the end because you want to be on the winning team. Anyways, they had talked about how Hillary had both an acceptance and I forget what the speech is, when you pretty much just kind of say, hey, we lost, whatever the hell like that. And when they asked him, well, does Trump has the speech ready? And the guy's like, no. He's like, and he said it in a condescending way, like he's kind of not making fun of the whole Trump thing, but kind of going along with that whole persona. He's like, what we do is win. And they would have made it perfect clearing for some fucking DJ Khaled interlog or interlude in that motherfucker. But it was funny that those were the fucking results. That, he had won, he accepted. And one of the dopest things, looking back at, because whatever you want to call the situation, there's some hilarity in it. And in the acceptance speech, you can tell his boy was just bored out of his fucking mind. That's his, most newest, youngest kid. And then Pence, who was the vice president-elect at this time, he was kind of the background, just doing the Joe Biden thing, just looking strong, proud of his daddy. And not once in the whole little spiel that Trump gave, which, mind you, a lot of people were praising him for sounding presidential, kind of like that whole fuckery, that persona that he's been playing. That was just once again something he was playing. And then now you just see a more serious guy. Still kind of had a little bit of bullshit quips in there, but just more cohesive. And it was kind of mind-boggling. It was just like a different person. But one thing I love, though, because I'm not too sure if this is just because on the fly, I imagine he had his speech written down, but nowhere did this motherfucker give thanks to his vice president, which I laughed just because if that's your running mate, usually, they're attacking the demographics that you maybe don't cover or, aren't so known for. Not once did he give any shout out to him, which, mind you, I don't give a fuck about the guy, but it's funny because this Mike Spence guy, he actually is known for the conversion therapy, which apparently is something that, I don't know all the torture methods that go behind it, but it's what makes a gay person straight. Think of it as an iron, as you will. It's gonna iron all the wrinkles of gay. And I think that's kind of mind-boggling that's what he was running with. Now, did I hear any of his speeches? No. I remember there was one debate with the vice president, and that was lackluster. I don't remember shit from it, and I don't even think I watched it, but I was trying to read highlights of it. Didn't get shit out of it. So I was just thinking, okay, well, obviously this is somewhere where I mean, and not to say that vice presidents really matter anyway, unless someone gets capped. But I mean, really, though, what do they do besides campaign? So I'm imagining he's who got the super conservative vote in the door. But he didn't get thanks for that. Now, I laughed too because there was actually rumors of him taking, because Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who's known as the most badass motherfucking sheriff that there is, toughest on wetbacks and all, he lost the presidential campaign. Well, not presidential campaign, I'm so sorry. He lost the elections for sheriff. And I forget the brother who took it. He used to be he's a retired cop from Phoenix, which, definitely glad to be able to have, and hopefully, he'll definitely put a forefront on safety, but also hopefully not be such a prick about it, since Pinzone is his name. Hopefully he won't be such an ass about it. But anyways, that kind of leaves Arpaio, with some open time. And he's not the type of cat that's going to retire. So it'd be funny to have him as, and I forgot what they were mentioning him being able to go under, but I mean, he's been a firm supporter of Trump since get-go. And as a businessman, Trump, like I said, he knows that much, because any successful businessman is going to be able to build a good team. So he may not be the sharpest, the brightest, the coolest, and, all of which people praise, Obama for, but he knows how to build a team. And to be able to build a business, no matter what you're going to do with that business or what the conclusion of that business is going to be, at least working, and obviously you'd want to be something good so you can sell it, which is one of the things that worries me, because I did not think Trump was going to win. I honestly thought he was put here as a scapegoat. Honestly, I thought he was the scapegoat to let Jeb Bush take the Republican vote. That didn't happen, because he was one of the first ones to drop out. And so then it kind of was a toss-up for them. But as soon as that shit happened, I was like, okay, well, obviously all this retardedness is simply so that Hillary can take office. I had accepted it. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a few more Obama years. You know what I'm saying? Bill Clinton might kind of make it rise again. And fuck, who knows if there'd be some sort of reality show from it. But the reality show portion was literally Trump's inclusion. And the fact that he took it, I really didn't believe it. I kind of didn't even sink in until I just started to see him making these moves. And as scary as people, believe this to be, and there's even bankers that were running out, screaming at the top of their lungs, telling them to take the money out and to, invest in certain things, which I'm not investment financier. So I have no idea, and I wish I would have listened a little more closely when I heard the snippet of these cats, but definitely got to be able to move the proper pieces. It's definitely time to play chess. We got to be strategic, and every move that we make forward now is really going to count. And one of the things that kind of freaked me out a little bit is the fact that Trump, although a successful businessman, that doesn't mean that his businesses have always thrived or they've continued to. He's been very, and not one to throw what the hell's her name? Not Barbara Walters. Who's the fucking Martha Stewart into the mix? Because obviously she had some insider information. But mind you, when your business is to make sure that, if you're constantly profiting, never declining, he often sells shit that's no longer going to make him any money, or that are then, destined to crash and fall. So it's going to be very interesting to see how far he's going to take this, and hope and pray to God that he doesn't sell us. You know what I'm saying? We owe a lot to China. He talked a lot of shit about China. Matter of fact, you can just Google, directly YouTube Trump China. You'll see a montage. I don't know if it's considered a montage if you hear him talking, but just snippets of each interview or campaign trail conference that he would have where he just mentioning China. He says it so fucking often, it almost seems like he was actually saying in succession, because then he just seems winded by the end of it. And there was a point to him in the campaign where he damn near lost his voice because he's out there fucking shouting all this hateful shit. And it takes a lot out of you to be able to yell and fucking, minuscule and, just shit on people. It takes a lot of energy, let me tell you. But it's fucking mind-boggling. But we're here, and instead of fucking mope about it, instead of, be pissy about it, think about all the motherfuckers that were pissed off when Obama took the reins. These are literally the motherfuckers that voted to make sure that they could lean the proper way. Matter of factly, there's so many people that I've talked to, unfortunately, and it makes me wish that I would have been on social media more, really campaigning myself. But people who didn't fucking vote. So guess what? When you don't fucking vote, the fuckers that do vote, their voice is way louder. You can make a scene, you can make a ruckus, you can do all these fucking, what the fuck is it called? Not stampeding, not campaigning, fucking all these protests and shit to try to throw motherfuckers over. But that isn't gonna mean shit if you don't protest where it counts, and that's to fucking vote. I mean, even the UK wants to take Obama, or wants to sign some kind of petition to fucking make Obama the prime minister. I don't know how their how this shit works. If you have to be fucking legalized, or how that will work. I mean, I doubt he couldn't pull some strings to get legalized and all this bullshit. But why would he want to take one headache and get another fucking headache? Like when people usually serve, they serve so they can live fat the rest of their life, you know, or have some fucking spending money to make their proper investments or do what they got to do. You never fucking hear of a president being, you know, down in the dumps afterwards. No, they're pretty fucking set, and I'm pretty sure that's why we don't have fucking Medicare coverage for motherfuckers, because that money has to go somewhere. More about them. Anyways, it made me trip out though, just wondering, like, we did this, you know, and if you didn't do shit, then you're the exact reason why this shit happened. I mean, Hillary even lost the vote against middle-aged and just suburban wives in general. So the bitches that were on the fence said, you know what, fuck this bitch. And if there's one thing that I've noticed, any strong woman is going to always be behind another strong woman, unless they're a hating bitch. And it kind of goes to show you what the majority vote is. There's a lot more hating bitches in the fucking world, not only because of who they picked, but because who they picked against, if that makes any sense. Now, mind you, I don't give too many shits about Hillary. I really, really don't. Bill, that was cool, but that's because I'm a misogynistic motherfucker. So, as far as where her name realms, it just makes you wonder, like, people really didn't want to see her win. And that's almost a damn near shame. You know, as far as being collective as a people, being against a certain prejudice. Did I vote for either of these two? Fuck no, I didn't. But I had already accepted who... I mind you again, I thought Hillary was going to win. I had accepted that. I had understood this is the proper step that we're going to have to take. But it kind of goes to show you that we're not ready to have a bitch in office. Not like that. We can have her work in Congress. We can have her as a high priest judge. We can have her as whatever the fuck you want to call them in any of the positions. And mind you, there was a surplus of women that hit the range as far as, you know, getting important offices. It was only like 4 or 5. 2 might have been Latina. Or I think they were sprinkled around for good measure. Oh, we got a black, we got a Latina, and 2 of the white bitches. Or 3. Something like that. But, I mean, it's move forward for damn sure. But it isn't Hillary. Just like most bitches say. But that ain't Beyonce, though. Who gives any fucks? But we got to move forward. And I love how, and I really hope that everybody fucking listened to, watched SNL on the 12th. But seeing Chappelle back on TV just fucking brought a goddamn smile to my face, and I'm pretty sure to a bunch of others. He did his signature shit where he kind of laughs at himself when he knows he dug it in there. I forgot what he said that kind of, you know, flipped the lid a little bit, because he had given apologies to what was his name, Michael Lowen. Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. He's one of the big dudes on NBC, and I remember him apologizing. Like while he's saying this shit. So I totally missed what the fuck he said and how offensive it'd be. But I imagine that when you're dealing with networks, there's a whole lot of politics that come with it. In which case, I'm not too sure if this geared this position, but he kind of gave a little bit of props to, not so much props to Trump, but saying, hey, if we can give Obama a chance, then I'm sure we can give this motherfucker a chance. And all you can do is give a chance. And then he closed that statement by saying, and hopefully he can give the major minority a chance. And that's what we can hope. I mean, it kind of almost makes it scary that if Arpaio was to take some sort of office, you know, on defense or whatever the hell he would be doing, you know, you would hope that the prejudiceness wouldn't arise. And we've seen a lot of people go ape shit. I've saw a lot of shit, and I haven't been on Twitter like I'd like to, but I saw a lot of sum ups and a lot of just reactions to people just kind of commenting, and, you know, Muslim people just kind of tripping out, not wanting the kids to go to school and fear that something's gonna happen. I figure, well, what the fuck do kids know about politics? But you know what they do know? They know what the fucking parents say. They know the same rhetoric that they're gonna repeat over and over. That's gonna be ingrained in their fucking head, you know. My youngest, we're at the store and he sees some kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, like really over exaggerated hip hopper, and fuck, my kid's like, hey nigga, you know, and I'm just like, kind of, you know, just a little nod, like, what's happening? try to look, kind of had a little b-boy stance myself just to not look so suspect. Like, so I'm a racist motherfucker, and whatever, you get along with it. You make well to be well, or you have to wear the hat that fits, or dress the job that you're wanting, or whatever the fuck. But there's just, someone call that two-faced. I call that camouflage, which, by the way, this past weekend was Veteran Days weekend, and I loved that when I was watching the football games, the foosballs, Cardinals, by the way, they beat the faggot-ass 49ers, even though that one guy who likes to kneel and doesn't like to stand for the American some shits is a protester, whatever. I don't know his name. I know y'all know his name, but I ain't going to say his name because I really did forget his name. Capper, Dick, Prick, some shit. I don't mean to talk shit. I just want to rhyme. But they're all wearing camouflage in honor to the veterans. And in all honesty, and the straight up truth, for all those that do give up their lives for this fuckery that we live in, for this world that allows us to be enslaved, and then for the remaining hours have our mind enslaved by whatever the fuck the media wants to show us, whether that's social media or whether that's, the liberal media, whatever the fuck. That's a major sacrifice. It almost seems like a pointless sacrifice, but for us to live as casual and as luxurious, no matter whether we feel we're in the ghettos or not, compared to others, we got it really fucking well. And that's what I loved about the closing speech of the SNL, was just kind of giving kudos to that. And the fact that we truly have the ability to do whatever we want to do. Mind you, a lot of it takes money to do so. And I noticed that in the ballots, there's a lot of fill-in shits where I really wish I would have researched the people that aren't on the ballot, because that lets you know these are probably the for the people. Because if they're not, then they just have to have the money, which it either takes a good strategist to be able to, and a good fundraiser to be able to, get in it like most were. But you gotta just think about the ones that don't, and whether or not that's their fault for not hustling. That could have also been, their whole matter of honor for the fact that, it was truly word of mouth. So I really hope that those people got in. I didn't notice they did it, and that's part of my ignorance. I really feel bad about that. But it really takes us to be able to come as a people, and it shows. It really showed who the people wanted, and it's almost a damn shame. But we just hope, and we gotta be stay prayed up that we can hopefully move forward, for real. So in honor of the president, I say we go right into the what the fuck? Hell no! News. I'm full of beans, says the vegan mother who drinks smoothies made from a friend's sperm. Now she swears she's discovered the secret of not catching the flu. Well, y'all might have heard about her from last year. I think we might have mentioned it before. But Tracy Kiss says that she ingests semen every day to boost immunity, and that she has her friends donate her sperm, which she then adds to smoothies. Now, this personal trainer also adds that she is happy to drink the neat. She's happy to drink it neat unless she has had alcohol or has eaten something particularly pungent that day. Now, if that doesn't sound like some hoe shit that just happens to say, hey, you know what? I happen to suck a lot of dick. It happened to fall on my face. It works great for facials. I think that's why they call it a facial. But then, one day, when I was having these random dicks, they just started coming in my smoothies to be a dick. But then I started drinking them on purpose, because I'm a dirty whore. And I realized I didn't catch the flu this time. It works wonderful, y'all. Works miracles, y'all. And I found one of her, because there's a bunch of articles on her. You could Google her, you'll find her Twitter and shit. But I love that they start off the article by saying a single mother has advised others to ingest semen if they want to avoid the cold winter. Now, wouldn't you? Wouldn't we all? Isn't that the point of cuffing season, to avoid, those long, cold, lonely winters, to be able to have young bitches, assisting with such pleasantries. Now, this Tracy Kiss, who's 29, she's from Buckinghamshire, I think that's from the UK, and and I love how she just references her best friend to supply her with sperm to boost her immunity. She's a vegan, which, mind you, she's eating little babies, so I'm not too sure if that's just the worst a vegan can do, and kind of add to the joke, about them who suck dick, but she definitely loves her meat. I'm not too sure how many times, because I didn't know that you couldn't drink the milk right from the cow. I didn't know you had to boil it. I thought you can go right from the tit and get the milk. No, you can't do that. So I'm not too sure if she goes right to the dick or how she does it, but she adds that it tastes really good depending on what her friend's been eating. She goes, my other mates think I'm strange, but I don't give it a toss. Now, I know it's UK speak for homies, but I mean, who fucking knows? I mean, she's a güerita. I mean, would I want to donate to her? Yes. I'm just wondering how... I want to know how the fuck it happened. I want to know if this homie of hers was a fuck buddy, and I want to know how. I wonder if he has like some kind of class to make sure this bitch is ingested into the pussy, because I had an IG friend who I donated some sperm to her. She told me to leave the condom there. She didn't want me to pick it up. She wanted me to leave it where I dropped it at until she had a fucking baby. Baby looks Filipino, so I'm pretty sure it's not mine. But I'm wondering, who I had a battle against in order to get to that spot. So, again, kudos and a kiss to Miss Tracy, dirty ass kiss.
Only thing that'll bring me back alive, woman, is some good head.
Woo! Wouldn't that be beautiful? And that is such a luxury to be able to. Oh man, I'm so mad that I'm as old as I am. Even though I feel like I was meant to, to been around in the late 70s. I really, really, really missed out on a generation of whores to where now I guess like the blowjob is like the new French kiss, and I never had nothing like that. Like I had to wait until I was on Greek God mode, where I'd literally fucking drive over to a bitch's house, have my dick hanging out, flaccid and all, didn't give no fucks. Open up the door, bitch comes in. Dick starts getting sucked instantaneously. I think maybe even before the door actually closes. Now, it's been quite a minute since I was at such stage, and I felt like I've retired since then, although everyone deserves a comeback. You don't have to wish upon a star or look back into the past of your dirty Rolodex of pictures that you might even have a secret Tumblr of, but there's this shop in Switzerland where it's a sex cafe, and now they're considering using robotic prostitutes instead. Now, originally, and this shit hasn't even been out yet, but there's a Swiss coffee and oral sex salon that was supposed to open in Geneva at the end of the year, and now they're considering changing the business model to utilize robot prostitutes instead of human servers. Now, I'm not too sure how that would work, but I mean, with a good Japanese vendor, the fucking sky's the limit. Now, it says that prostitution is legal in Switzerland, and one Geneva-based escort service thought it would be a great idea to open up a high-end coffee shop that also offers oral sex to a harried of early morning commuters. Now, yes, some morning head would be divine, and having it while I sip on my latte would be fucking exquisite. Now, I could imagine there being a lot of bitches with third-degree burns, and maybe that's what's happening. Maybe they tried it low-key, underground, and they realized, like, fuck, you know what? We need some Obamacare or some kind of bullshit because these bitches are getting burned, and we can't lose all these profits. So I'd imagine that if they do use robots, they better have some kind of special issued rubber shit so it doesn't fry the main circuit board and your dick gets electrocuted. I'm not too sure how it helps, but originally the coffee shop was dubbed the Cafe Fellatio, which slated to open at the end of 2016. And from the beginning, it was developed as a high-tech endeavor. Now, the owners fucking touted that the idea was that the customers would come into the bar, use like an iPad to order their coffee, along with the temporary companion. That's another word for prostitution. I think it's a beautiful word, temporary companion. From a menu featuring both drinks and bitches. It goes, but now, according to the local, which apparently is the publication out there, the cafe has still not been approved by governmental authorities because while prostitution is legal in Switzerland, it is not allowed in pubs that sell food or drinks. Ain't that some shit? Like, I could sell you some pussy, but your drinking license, your alcohol license, you know what? That's going to be different than your prostitution license. Your pussy card and your alcohol card cannot be all in one, which you figure you'd be killing two birds. But I'm not sure if it's because they be impressionable. But then again, don't they fucking put ads and campaigns behind fucking drinks and shit like that that's going to sway you a certain way anyway? It doesn't make fucking any sense. But now, the would-be sex cafe entrepreneurs are rethinking the original idea and flirting with the idea of staffing the place with sex robots instead of living prostitutes. Now, would-be cafe fellatio owner Bradley Carvier says that to install 6 to 8 high-end sex robots in the cafe at a cost between $1,800 to $3,000 a piece. Now, that's a shit ton, and you would figure as a business you're gonna need more than 6 to 8 prostitutes. But then again, I mean, think about the storage space of this shit, and then think about how much people you're gonna have there. Now, you thought that fucking being able to wait in line at a fucking Starbucks that fucking zips around like it was a goddamn zigzag chalk track was long and never ending. Can you imagine some motherfuckers, trying to get some head? Now, I've had some head before where it's like, oh goddamn, I think I just put it in your mouth and I came. And there's been other times where the shit could go on for a while, the bitch gets lockjaw, and here I am, fucking a quote unquote stallion for lasting so long, but I put it in some pussy and it's gone. So it really depends upon the sensation and and how shit's done. So it really makes me wonder how they would make that work. And I don't know if they do the cleaning right then and there. I don't know where the sperm goes into. Is this collected? Can they sell this? What can happen? Kind of like when they did all the protests against the Planned Parenthood and them using fetuses and shit, for other scientific measures. Like, I wonder if anyone's gonna give a fuck about that, or people just want some head and want to get the fuck out. We got shit to do. And God bless them. I can't wait to see how that happens. Will I go to Switzerland? Nah. But they got some bad bitches. And it would have been beautiful to have me tall Amazon bitch, with some cocoa, my own little cocoa, no disrespect to IC. But I'm thirsty. I live in the desert. Motherfucker. So going back to the licks and sips and other types of nasty shits, Japan police arrest the alleged footlicker. Now, police arrested a fetishist who allegedly licked and nibbled on a woman's foot for more than about 30 minutes. Now, it says that the city of Kyoto said that Akira Nishiyama, who's 56, allegedly talked a 20-something-year-old woman in July into sitting in the driver's seat of his car under the pretense of helping him check the braking system. And it goes that Nishiyama then grabbed her right foot, removed the sandal, and began licking the sole of her bare-ass foot. Local police spokesman said that, adding he was arrested on Monday on sexual assault charges. Now, I'm not sure how that's sexual assault and how this bitch was going to sit there for 20 minutes. I imagine she liked it. And there were several similar cases that had been reported in the same area since 2012, and local police had begun pursuing the predator, renaming him the Footlicker. But apparently, after about 30 minutes, which I imagine this freak probably gets off on licking the foot, bitch squirming, leaving, and getting the fuck away. But this bitch stayed there for 30 whole fucking minutes. So she must have liked it. Supposedly she didn't move because he had a hold of her right ankle. But I mean, come on now, you couldn't kick him? You couldn't get the fuck out of there? She was there for 30 minutes, recorded some of it, just the end of it. But apparently after finishing, he's like, "Thank you," and that was it. God damn, there's some fucking freaks. I mean, shit, the Japanese is the reason why we're about to get some fucking robotic pussy. Shout out to the Swiss. And shouts out to motherfuckers just shoving shit in the mouth without even asking. God damn it. There was a Florida man who stuffed pizza and cinnamon sticks in his mouth instead of paying. Now, this Florida man was actually arrested last month for what apparently deputies said was stuffing pizza, cinnamon sticks in his mouth after he was unable to pay the delivery driver for the order. Mr. James Chandler, who's 60, had a Domino delivery made to his Fort Pierce area house back in October. And when the delivery man kind of gave him his shit and they told him, how are you going to pay for it, Mrs. Chandler said, "Oh, we'll store credit." The driver called the store and they said, "No, we don't do fucking store credit, get the money." As soon as he saw his face, getting the news, he started just stuffing his face with all the fucking food. Now, I don't know if you've seen Cinnamon Stick Challenge or Cinnamon Challenge. Like, you got to nibble on this shit. Like, you got to be a fucking savage to just stuff that in his fucking mouth. Apparently, he then tried paying with the check. But I mean, once you fucking, shove all the shit in your mouth and kind of throw it back at the fucking driver, I mean, you're pretty much done with it. So, I don't know, they got him on some fraudulent, what do they call it? Fraudulent, just defrauding an innkeeper charge. But I just thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, what kind of just, hold on. Oh, why? Okay. So, just speaking of motherfuckers that probably put a lot of strange objects in the mouth due to their profession, it goes, headlines reads, "Man with meth pipe infiltrates stranger's kitchen and freestyles." Now, Notorious B.I.G. once rapped, "I made the change from a common thief to up close and personal with Robin Leach. And it appears that Scott Aaron Riles hasn't yet made that transition. Now, police said that Riles, who's 35, of Twin Falls, broke into a car and a Lotus Street home earlier Tuesday, about an hour after Halloween night had ended. Now, he wasn't charged with stealing anything, though 2 different people called the cops on him, including a man who said Riles broke into his car. Now, he was accused, though, of freestyling in a stranger's kitchen. That's fucking weird. But it says that a woman called the police and said that she was sleeping when she heard a male's voice coming from the kitchen. Court documents said she said that the male was rapping song lyrics. Now, the man later identified as Riles apparently didn't know where he was, because when the woman yelled out asking who he was or who was there, he replied, "Oh, fuck, where am I at? Am I in someone's home?" And then he tried unsuccessfully to get out through a sliding glass door, police said, before the woman pointed him towards the front door and called 911. Now, the Twin Falls police had already been in the area checking on the report of the burglarized car, which this motherfucker was arrested most immediately after he left the woman's home. Now, it goes, the neighbor whose car Riles apparently broke into woke up and, heard his car alarm going off. And that's when he went outside, and Riles was standing at the end of the driveway. And the man tried to speak to Riles, but he was speaking so fast and incoherently, he then just started walking away. Now, that sounds like a fucking method for damn sure. But it goes after, upon leaving the woman's house, he didn't mean to hurt nobody, he said. He was asked officers if everyone was okay or hurt at all. And due to the nature of the call, pretty much they detained him for further investigation. They just find out maybe what else he had done. And when going through his pockets, they found a meth pipe when they arrested him. And he's pretty much just getting fucking misdemeanor charges. So they set his bond at 1,000 Benjamins, which, oh wow, that's $100,000. Now I'm looking at pictures of them and him as, I'm not sure if it's accomplices. He had what probably used to be a bad little white bitch, but I can just imagine, like, you just hire shit. And, I don't know what you're doing breaking into cars. I'm not too sure if you're looking for more meth. I'd imagine it's money. But then you break into a motherfucker's house and you're just freestyling. They're like, you must really be on one. Here you are fucking making PB&J sandwiches. And then fucking here you are getting so goddamn loud with your fucking and fucking, tapping and not closing the refrigerator gently. Here this bitch comes. Getting you arrested. Ruining your high. That's fucked up. What's also fucked up is being able to harass the police. Wouldn't that be terrible? Them killing niggas on here, y'all harassing them, like wasting their time. Fucking, there's a man who called 911 asking how many legs an octopus has. Needless to say, he didn't just stop there. Now, there's a man who had just called 911 multiple times harassing dispatchers, and each time the fucking cops would actually go down there. But they said that Mr. John Dargan Barron, who's 69, holla for the 69, first called 911 just after 11 p.m. Wednesday, asking if the dispatcher how many legs an octopus has. Now, when the officers arrived, they found this nigga all intoxicated and warned him not to call 911 again unless it was an emergency. Well, about 30 minutes later, there was an emergency, and officers were again dispatched to Barron's home when he called 911 asking if the Russian alphabet was the same as the English alphabet. Now, when officers arrived at Barron's home, police said that he was not wearing any pants. And after officers helped Barron get dressed, they placed his ass under arrest. Now, he was verbally abusive towards the officers and offered passive resistance before refusing to get in the back of the police cruiser, despite being clearly physically able to do so. When the officers took Barron, the police headquarters, he refused to get out the car, telling officers that he was, stuck in the back seat. Barron was charged with violation of 911 statute and resisting arrest. Now, shit like this, motherfuckers like this, are the reason why that one sister in, I'm not too sure if it was Ohio or Missouri, Mississippi, one of those obese states, where she was just hanging up on bitches, just saying, ain't got no time for that, being real fucking ignorant. I'm not too sure how many emergencies she actually still pulled over, but can you imagine all the fucking calls that you get? Now, I would think that prank callers would know, they can trace your number. Don't be stupid. If anything, call from a fucking payphone. If you could even find one. Every time I find one, I definitely take a picture of it. But she was hanging up on motherfuckers. And now here these dumb motherfuckers are fucking, not antagonizing, but fucking going along with it. I mean, obviously he was incoherent. I mean, he was fucking throwing fits and he was just making a scene. But I just fucking laugh because there used to be a thing. And I mean, I know 411 still exists. At least I think it does. But I would not want to pay $1.25 for something I can just Google. No matter how shitty my reception could be and having to fucking enter it in. I'm not going to pay $2 to fucking get someone to look it up for me. I'm just not. My boy Rudy, he was like that though. You know, it would take me so fucking long to open up a cellular thing because I always, disconnect, the internet connection on my phone. I had to turn that bitch on, to pull up Google, I have to type something, I have to go through, things. And God forbid you ever go on the second page of a Google results. But he was like, no, I can just call right now. Blah, blah, blah. He wasn't a tightwad like I was. I mean, I call it being conservative. He wasn't like that. But I think there's another service called Cha-Cha. I think Google actually run it. And you can literally just fucking ask questions. I think you have like one a day. So I can just imagine all the asinine things people were probably asking because that's just what happens. You have a great service and it just takes just a batch of dumb motherfuckers to just kind of shit on it all. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, if you were to weight, like a justice scale of hope and just bullshit, that bullshit's going to fucking outweigh the hope a lot of times, unfortunately. Speaking of bullshitting and fucking all this hope with the elections, I know a lot of people, they said, oh, well, I'm going to fucking move to Canada, if Trump becomes president. Well, fucking day of, apparently the Canadian whatever the fuck website actually crashed because there's so many motherfuckers trying to, I guess, get a visa or however the hell that shit works. And supposedly they're actually going to allow for people in Mexico to be able to get a visa into Canada due to the fuckery. I'm not too sure how true that shit is. That'd be fucking dope. I mean, I want to go just for the free weed since Arizona didn't fucking pass it. God damn them. But a lot of other states did, so shouts out to them. California, I think, finally made it regularly legal. So that means I'll be going to SeaWorld a whole lot more often because I want to be able to enjoy without having to hide and conceal. But anyways, Canada ain't all that safe either. Matter of fact, there's a man who was fucking scuba diving for fucking sea cucumbers, and he found a goddamn nuke from the 1950s. Now, supposedly, it was an inactive nuke, but I mean, it was definitely by a U.S. bomber. And Canadian Coastal Defense Forces are supposedly going to investigate, along with British Columbia to, figure out how it could have happened. But pretty much he went to dive and he fucking found it. This is some B-36 bomber. So, I mean, shit ain't all that safe. You know what I'm saying? You can say you're going to do this, but I mean, what you really going to do? So, again, shouts out to fucking George Zimmerman, who apparently karma has not caught up to him yet. And this time around, he was the acquitted killer is accused of yelling at a female employee while at a bar using racial slurs before becoming belligerent towards a deputy before he was removed from the establishment up in Florida because they give no fucks. I guess he had originally called to the Corona a cigar company in Sanford, Florida, Wednesday night. Pretty much on a battery incident in some. I'm not too sure if he had a black hostess or some shit, but the bitch wasn't feeling him. She calls her a nigger, and fucking he just goes on about talking all this shit, and it trips me out that all they had to do was escort him off. He wasn't harming nobody. Hey, but buddy, you gotta leave. You might kill another nigga. We can't have you do that. Not on these terms, because she's being paid, but we like you. So go on about your business. Just, don't bother nobody else. Motherfucker, how many lives is this motherfucker gonna have? I mean, if it's like a cat, he should have more than 9, but he's stacking them shits up there. Mind you, it wasn't no fucking big deal. I mean, hey, who doesn't get drunk and talk a little bit of shit? Shout out to Mel Gibson. He came back, but I mean, Zimmerman's fucking going on strong, and I feel like he has to think to himself like I'm fucking untouchable. He has to. How he hasn't gotten worked, I don't fucking know. Just with people that just feel like they're indestructible, I kind of feel like that's kind of white people. Especially after the fucking Trump win. I mean, I don't know if you saw people out there, there's people protesting, but there's people who just were fucking brave and bold. And I remember going to the Walmart after the elections, or the next day, I should say, and people were just fucking out there loud and proud. I feel like every fucking hillbilly's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm spending money now because we are moving in the direction we want to go. Now, in that same realm of thinking, and I'm not too sure exactly, but this bitch is a little bit off the rocker. There was a mom, and there's plenty of different video angles. If y'all want to Google it, y'all can. Mom who strips naked in front of high school, and it causes a lockdown, I'd imagine. He goes that, well, there's certainly one way to go into the weekend with the bang. Moms are rad, but there are a few moms that are a tad bit off the rocker. Now, although a tad might be an understatement in this case, we've come across a mom who's got a bunch of kids drunk. Remember playing fucking Naked Twister. We've also talked about, a bitch who spent $250,000 to look like a fucking Barbie. Now, there's a woman who, for some reason, thought it'd be a good idea to strip naked in front of a school while a bunch of teens looked at her. And I imagine that's kind of what comes along with the fucking realm of probably being a stay-at-home mom. Maybe not just fucking, being loved and adored as she wished she could or as she used to. So she goes back to her foregrounds. And apparently at the Glendora High School in California, I was focused on a lady who had pretty much fucking lost her mind. And she was asking for her child, but something tells me that this woman doesn't even have a kid that goes to the school. I mean, I'm really hoping she doesn't, because if she does, it's going to destroy that fucking kid's high school career. I mean, it's going to really fuck her up, and that's what they're going to fucking think every single time. Where it goes, if y'all look at the video, y'all gonna see she was for some reason yelling a bunch of shit. We don't know, like I said, she made up a kid, but I don't know if they were telling her, okay, you're going crazy, we need you to back the fuck up. She does, and she starts fucking twerking, starts dancing. The videos are kind of grainy, because you can tell these motherfuckers do not have an Apple phone. They have some kind of fucking Android piece of shit. Well, anyways, they fucking, you just see her kind of twerking, shaking her ass, because they're kind of going crazy. And then she jumps, like, not on a podium, but just a higher level of ground. She fucking drops out in her fucking pants, just shaking her ass. And she's kind of a thick girl, so it looked like there was a lot of thunder waves going on there. And people are just kind of screaming, what the fuck? And obviously as young kids would, but the bitch gets off scot-free. They took her home. There was no charges pressed. The school had a lockdown like you would when there's a fucking gangbanger on the premises. But besides all that, they pretty much let her do that. If it was a nigga, or if it was a fucking supposed beaner rapist, it would have been locked down. They fucking would have tackled his ass to the ground, no questions, and he would have been charged. And who knows if what his bail would have been set at. But because this was a white woman, and she was just excited, who the fuck knows, for whatever reason, and that shit pops off. And gets off scot-free. Like, if that ain't white privilege, I don't know what the fuck is. And God bless her. I wish I could have seen the titties. They look tiny. So she's a real tiny top, heavy bottom. That's fucking beautiful. And she got off scot-free. We should throw some bills at her. But niggas, I would probably gonna peg her with some pennies. They said that for the freshmen. God bless her. It was such white privilege they wouldn't even release her name. Come on now. So in the realm of, because a white woman is gonna bless everything, right? Let's move on over to music news. And we lost a legend recently, and I really only knew of one song, and I loved so much that the one fucking song they did, of course, it was honored in the very opening of the SNL with Dave Chappelle. And my Wedita, former dedication on the IBHN podcast, Kate, can't even fucking forget her fucking last name, but the bitch from Ghostbusters. She was dressed up as Hillary, kind of doing a graceful bowing out while she sang the song Hallelujah. For y'all that don't know, Leonard Norman Cohen, who is a Canadian singer, songwriter, poet, motherfucker's even a novelist, he passed away back on November 7th in LA, and he was just classic shit. You know what I'm saying? If you've ever read his lyrics, he's once again one of those kind of singers, and can't really do the man any honor. I only knew the one fucking song. You always hear it at the end of certain sad movies or segments. He had lost, I think, the right. I'm not too sure if he owned the rights to it or not, because I want to say, I thought that was like one of those just famous Negro spirituals that passed on, and maybe he did, but I don't know. Dude was a legend. Like I said, he passed, and the tribute that they gave was definitely honorable to him, especially in the rings of loss and whatnot. And along the same lines, white people winning, fucking Shia LaBeouf was on the Sway in the Morning, and I remember seeing the the link in the morning. I was like, oh, holy shit, he's doing the 5 Fingers of Death? Like, I gotta hear that. Put that on my watch later. Whatever. I'm going about the day, and then I see a thing at Complex article saying, best, surprise, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, okay, I gotta watch that. And then as I'm kind of going through the news, I'm seeing fucking more and more links talking about, I'm thinking, fuck, is it just a slow day today that we're about to jump into this shit? Like, mind you, elections is really all else that you fucking hear about besides your, what the fuck news that we just heard. But he really killed it, talking shit about motherfuckers like Lil Yachty, Drake, and other people who have songwriters. He went in, and it wasn't like it was the most magnificent fucking freestyle there was, but you gotta understand too that not many rappers will do the 5 Fingers of Death. I think it's very limited, who have, and I wish I had a list. I know for sure Gambino had done it. I'm trying to remember who else I did it dope, but most people don't. They get scared about it, and when they do, you could tell the shit was pre-written, which I'm not hating on, because I gotta write some shit, but when you truly have the spirit in you, like, it just flows out, and you could tell the spirit was flowing through him. It was just funny seeing it happen, and the shots out he'd give, and the shit that he'd talk, and even the references. So like, it almost sounded like Eminem, like legitly it sounded like some Eminem shit, which I would imagine that was his era. I mean, matter of fact, we're about the same age. And I mean, I remember seeing him on Even Stevens. So it's just, you know him for the craziness. He definitely was rocking that weird ass mullet that he's been having, like the fucking, like I live in the forest kind of guy. Matter of fact, I think his Twitter handle is like cooking book or camping book or something fucking weird. He's an artist for damn sure. And I respect him so much, and I'm so happy that, he did that thing, because you could tell he was ignited by it. He fucking ignited the sway, and he even did the whole, traditional fucking put it on the shades, calling out the hyenas and all that shit. Like, he was geeked out, and I feel like that was a welcome fucking surprise. I mean, I feel like that's exactly what we're gonna be getting hit with, none but fucking surprises. And may God bless us fucking with pleasant surprises. You know what I'm saying? For damn sure. Just because things can be difficult. You know what I'm saying? Things can be fucking real hard. And it's not easy, the routes that we're making. And we can place our bets, and and we can hope, and pray on it. But it's in the end, it's gonna be get cash. Either you're gonna pull out or you ain't. Kind of like when you fucking a bitch. You can pull out and you ain't. You know what I'm saying? It feels real good. Are you going to pull out or you ain't? And, speaking of the biggest bitch in the world, Martin Scarelli, he was, he had said, he had boasted that he was going to release, because I didn't know he had unreleased songs from Nirvana. The fucker has unreleased songs from the Beatles. Who gives a fuck about the Wu-Tang Clan album? And I'm a big fan of them. Shit, Lord knows. Shit, Ghostface is my dude, but he had talked about he was going to release it if fucking Trump won. So mind you, it was another cocky statement, because you wouldn't have fucking thought in the whole wide world this motherfucker would win. I don't think he thought he was going to win. I think he was just going to, kind of give a big fuck you and tell you about the new show he's going to do. But no, they're going to run with it. The powers that be are laughing, because the people who are beneath them that try to go against the grain are going to really, have something coming to them. And Lord willing, it's a good thing. At least for us, for me, for you, and we're not all the same, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. God bless. But anyways, Ron Scarelli, he fucking backs out. I think he showed like a snippet of it, and it sounds like the same old shit. Like, you hear nothing different. I couldn't fucking find the clips. I know they're out there. Suppose you can look them up, but he had really bitched out on that fucking move. So I'm just more or less surprised that he has shit from the fucking Beatles. I mean, Nirvana impressed me off the cuff, but fucking you have some Beatles shit. Like, it kind of goes more to show how much of a cocky bitch he is, and what he meant when he was trying to show off to his friends. Like, nigga, I got unreleased Wu-Tang, I got Nirvana. Nirvana, unfortunately, is no longer, due to a, head explosion, and the better part becoming Foo Fighters. And then the fucking Beatles, who all the members ain't even alive. So this is some rare shit. Now, they say that collecting is really an escape for those that have a missing void in their life. And no doubt, as big of a piece of shit as he is, I'm sure he has a void. Just how, we all do. I know I do sometimes. And I know that's the God void. And sometimes we fill it with other shit. But it's just kind of surprising just to see how big someone's dick is. You know what I'm saying? Big dick Carl over there. I see you. No, I don't want to keep seeing it, but I see you. Smells pungent. There really isn't too much more to speak on other than a few things. I haven't really kept my ear too close to the streets when it comes to music. I definitely would hope that y'all can tell me what's good out there, if anything. But I definitely wanted to talk about a couple of, just because life is, endless, you would think, until it ends, which seems oxymoronic. But, there's a lot of things, classic things that kind of feel like are so historical, that are so just forever, that they continue on, whether the people in the stories change. But it made me think about some of, old school fairy tales. Things that we wish for them to be, the happy ever endings and shit like that. But some of them are actually really fucking disturbing. So I kind of want to go through a few of them. Now, the Little Red Riding Hood. Now, early versions of what is the most classic, probably, fairy tales of all have some pretty, sketch shit on, going on. And one version of it has the wolf chopping up the grandma and tricking the little girl into eating her remains. And then other versions of the story talk about the girl being eaten by the wolf while she sleeps in grandma's bed. And that's what I remember too. So it's kind of like, what the fuck could have actually gone down? Think about it. If these were like these myth passed on stories that we kind of pass on generation to generation, because I don't think anyone owns these rights. These are fucking folk tales that are fucking endless and just kind of fucking scary. And Disney had a lot of part of kind of retransitioning these shit. But think about where we're taking the material from. Another one was The Little Chicken, and this tale originated under the name Henny Penny, and the story follows a chick who had an acorn fall on his head, and believing that the sky is falling. And this kind of remembers Chicken Little, and he runs around convincing other animals to head over to the king to tell him that the news of the sky. Now, unfortunately, the animals get lured into a fox den, and they get eaten alive. Another one is Hansel and Gretel. We've seen the redone movie, maybe, might have not. The motherfucker who shoots the arrows in the Marvel movies, his ass was in it, and some other bitch. I don't think it was the bitch from Seventh Heaven, Jessica something. She's beautiful. Oh my God, God bless fucking Justin Timberlake for Handle Land. But anyways, Hansel and Gretel, the theory is that this fairy tale refers to a baker whose rival was so jealous of her gingerbread cookies that she convinced the town that she was a witch. And the townsman then chased her down and burned her alive in her own fucking baking oven. A la Jew. That's what I think they call it, the pastry. Some curd. Some early versions of the story actually involved Hansel and Gretel slitting the witch's throat. So, it's been fucking having something in your throat. The Frog Prince. Here goes some early versions of this tale consist of the frog transforming into a prince. Not from a kiss, but from being decapitated. Decapitated by the princess. It goes, the grim version of the tale has the frog turning into a prince after the princess slams it against the wall. Now, funny thought about this is it was portrayed, this version, from a Seth MacFarlane, the guy most famous for Family Guy, American Dad, The Cleveland Show, shit like that. Actually, one of his cartoon DVDs called The Cavalry of Comedy. I'm butchering the names, I couldn't quite pronunciate it. But you look up his movies, he has them kind of like a bunch of collection of shits, a la your Family Guy kind of stuff, but very deep, very spiritual actually. And there was a skit where there's a frog there, a princess comes along, and he tells him that to take a shit on his back. Not after trying to get a kiss and blowjobs. Hilarious. Y'all should look it up. The next one is Rumpelstiltskin, and the original grim version of this tale speaks of a man who promises the king that if his daughter isn't able to weave a straw into gold, that he will kill her. That's kind of some biblical shit too. The girl makes a deal with an imp, and that he weaves a straw into gold. She will turn him, she will give him her firstborn. He does it, but the girl won't give it up. The imp agrees then to let the deal if she can guess his name. And after some snooping, the girl catches him singing his name. So the next day she comes over, tells him that she knows it. After she tells him, he loses a damn mind and tears his own body in half right in front of her. Next one is Pied Piper. Shouts out to Arkels. Early versions of the classic fairy tale have a Pied Piper leading the children of the town through a forest to a river which they all drowned in piss. There are also modern scholars who suggest that there are connotations of pedophilia in some earlier versions of the tale. I mean, come on, a man luring people into the woods. Come on now. Now, The Ugly Duckling. The original version of Hans Christian Andersen's wonderful tale consists of a little duckling being harassed by all the other animals in the barn, and then he escapes to go live with some ducks and geese who unfortunately get slaughtered by hunters. And when he's given a new home with an old woman, but unfortunately he gets further harassed by a cat and a hen, and then the duckling then spends the entire winter sad and alone after returning to hang out with swans in the spring. Now, The Three Little Pigs. There was an early version of the classic English tale that speaks of a wolf eating the first two pigs after he destroys their houses. Because mind you, they didn't build this shit out of brick. Now, Pinocchio, the Carlo Dell'Otti original version of this beloved tale, has some pretty messed up shit in it. It goes, once Pinocchio is carved, he runs away and gets caught by a law enforcement who believe that Chappelle abused him. Chappelle gets thrown into the slammer. Pinocchio accidentally kills the talking cricket, and then he ends up fucking hanging from a tree. Now, next one, The Sleeping Beauty, an Italian writer, Jim Battisti, Basile, some bullshit, however the fuck you say it, early version of this classic tale, talks about a king who takes advantage of a girl who is in deep sleep, Cosby, and then gives birth to his baby while she's still sleeping, and is awoken when the baby sucks a splinter out of her finger, and when she's keeping her asleep somehow. And then the same king then kills the wife to be with the sleeping girl. To be with the sleeping girl. All fucked up shits for things that we pass on and are still making movies to. Shouts out to the Beauty and the Beast, where the motherfucker looks like a goddamn demon. I'm not too sure what they're really trying to predict in this shit. By the way, I saw Ghostbusters, the chick version, because Kate McKinnon, that bitch's name, Kate McKinnon. Who earlier, again, I talked about dressing up as Hillary, singing the Cohen song, Hallelujah. She plays like just a dyke that's haunted me before. It's fucking quite strange, but way more articulate and blonde. Anyways, it was actually a really dope movie, and what freaked me out is that in the movie, one of the big bad ghosts legitimately looks like a fucking demon that motherfuckers praise, and it was so gnarly that depicted that because it's not hiding it, which is almost funny that the movie did so shittily. Which was a dope movie, but they used a fucking real demon, which kind of freaked me out. Luckily, they slaughtered that motherfucker in what seemed to be like a wood chipper, but for the spirits, a ghost. Segue from a dirty wolf eating the bits out of a little güerita, white bitch. I think it's time for some motherfucking So as much as I'd want to dedicate this to Kate McKinnon, who again did an awesome number in Ghostbusters, fucking beautiful, dykey, quirky, all the things that I love and adore, and she's pale. On top of all that, like I said, I want to just like give her so much fucking praise, like I said, for the Hallelujah song. Like I really know what the fuck was going on. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people in that region are going to be liberal, and I think Hillary actually took New York. Everything else, like 54% of the population, again, went the other route. But I really want to dedicate this episode to her. Kate McKinnon, you goddess, you güerita, you. Shouts out. Now, I don't want to burn you, though. I don't, as much as I would want to give sacrifice and, glory to God, I figured, you know what, let's just burn some other bad bitches. So I wanted to bring up Liz and Julia Nolan, who are most notable for appearing on the 17th season of Big Brother. Now, they appeared as one character named Liz and would switch out after a few days. I mean, after the 5th eviction, they began playing as two separate characters. So if you'd like to see more of these bitches, look them up there. I really have no idea how crazy they are. I do not watch the show, even though I think that was like probably the birth of like reality TV for the most part. But when you see them, like they're fucking vicious. There's one where one of them, I can't tell which one, she has shorter hair here. Looks like it's a combination of the two. It looks like they actually morphed and become a super mega Liz. And she's wearing like an American shirt showing all this side boob and these little dicey dukes. God. And now they almost seem like the type of bitches that would probably hook up with a very rich dude and say that if you're going to fuck one of them, you got to fuck all of us. And they even I mean, they look adorable when they dress alike. I mean, they definitely have their independent flair when they're not. They even posed like that little, which apparently is the international emoji for dyke. Those two ballerinas with the shits on their ears. Looks like fucking rabbit ears and with the legs kind of spread. Yeah, they dressed up in that. And they're quite gorgeous. Don't really know anything besides them, but if we're gonna burn something, there you go. God bless. So that's going to conclude this episode of the Soul Papo In Cogneto podcast. I want to give you thanks for listening. If you made it this far, definitely if you want to reach out to me, you can go on most social media sites at SoulPapo. That's Soul Papo. If you want to become a producer of the show, you can definitely go to patreon.com/SoulPapo. And yeah, fucking well wishes to you, and be careful, be strategic. Be fierce. Be ruthless. This is that time. Everyone, God bless.
Round one, fight.
Mega Ultra Super Deluxe Championship Hadouken Edition!
Nigga, bitch, you be dragging like the cherry on my blunt when I don't come correct with the matches, flashes, her smashing is the only way to make up for this back-to-back transaction. Right back to my patience, and I am usually the hella chill guy, but you bugging like a kid who keeps asking why. Bitch, you got some explaining to do, so please don't take this as being broke, but
always gonna love their job. Then why do you do it? Because you're stupid.
we all gotta do what we gotta do right. So I'm finna get it till I take what is mine. Just like a little kid, it's all about high.
Fuck you, every single motherfucker that gets in my way. Gonna be blessed by the crimes has grace. Living life just like it's a maze. Knock down the door and get that cheesecake. Space it, wherever your mind needs to have it. Stop it, stab it. Motherfucker, I'm finna have it. Havoc.